and an investor of Lagos. So we want to put some sunny side of life into the news while we go on. So once again, viewers, you're welcome to this beautiful Wednesday morning, 28th of January, 2026. And George and Wale are here with me. Gentlemen, let's go straight to Turkey. Turkey is hosting our country president, and Turkey is also bringing in some good business and into Nigeria. Let me start with George. George, I hope you can hear us well. Can you, George? Oh dear. Okay. Wale.
Yes, I can hear you.
You can, but it's dragging a little. Okay, go ahead. Can you hear what I just said?
Yeah. Anyway, can you hear me? Can you hear?
Yes. Yes.
Hear me? You can hear?
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
Okay, George. I think you need to probably.
Can you hear me?
Relink your link. It's not flowing well. There's this bouncing lagging network. Yes. Wale, let me be with you. Sorry for this, Wale. Sorry for.
No, it is what it is, and you can't really rely on technology 100%. Yes, so the president is currently on a state visit to Turkey. We all saw the video of him meeting President of Turkey. And the funny side of that, but the most important thing, I think, is just some of the decisions and some of the discussions they've had around fighting terrorism together. Turkey, obviously wants to share knowledge, intelligence, and skills in that aspect of fighting terrorism in Nigeria. They've also signed a bilateral agreement to the tune of $5 billion in terms of investment. So that is a huge sum of investment. In terms of the focus of that bilateral agreement, they're going to focus on areas of trade, investments, energy, education, and defense industry. So these are key areas, and they've, there's an establishment of a joint economy and trade committee. So there's that new committee that has just been established, joint economy and trade committee to facilitate economic growth and development between the two countries. So these are the things, the information that I was able to just gather around, that the ongoing state visit, and obviously the fighting insurgency and terrorism is also on top of the list.
On top of the list, fighting insurgency, yes, it's on top of the list. We know Turkey produces arms too, but let's hear George now. George, Georgie, can you hear us now?
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, clearly. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
All right, George. Yes, George, we're talking about. Yes, sir. It's okay. Okay.
Okay.
We're talking about the current situation of Nigeria in Turkey.
Okay, so now,
yes,
I know our president is in Turkey. Our president is in Turkey for a state visit, and the Nigerian is deepening our economic ties with many countries. Sometimes when we see our president, we don't understand really, the implications of such visit. This is a president that refuses to sit down and to enjoy, ruling Nigeria from Nigeria. He understands diplomacy and international relationship when it comes to the world economy. After the pandemic, a lot of things, the status quo changed. There was a paradigm shift in the way with the emergence of Trump in the second term. Also, the necessity for any president to move around the world and make international connections when it comes to businesses, because Now the way we think internationally is different from the way it was before. So the president and our president and the other gun agreed on a clear pathway to a $5 billion trade, $5 billion in momentum for jobs, investment, growth through joint economic and trade committee. So that's what I'm just repeating what we're just saying. And strategy cooperation strengthened. Both leaders committed to closer, what you call, closer collaboration on defense, intelligence, military training, and counter-terrorism, reinforcing peace and stability in Nigeria and Africa. Here is this visit is very, very vital. 9 agreements sealed. Nigerian open for business. They said deals spanning energy, education, media trade, diaspora policy, and institutional cooperation signal Nigerian reform to drive
Okay.
and readiness
All right.
for
Yeah.
serious global
Even though,
partnership.
George,
We're seeing exactly what is going on right now.
Yeah, George, you're giving very, very crucial side to this story.
What did you say?
But your network is not still very stable. I don't know, but I think it's one of those things that happen with technology sometimes.
Okay.
Because what we are saying, we want to hear, we want to really get those stories, very crucial stories there. But Wale, like George has also repeated, the side of terrorism, fighting terrorism.
Let me turn.
Okay.
I want to participate fully on this.
Yes. Oh, dear. Sorry for that again. So, Wale, yes. George was saying some very pivotal comments there. Very, very. Also, you talked about Erdogan saying that he will support Nigeria fight terrorism. He expressed readiness to deepen cooperation in military training and intelligence, military training and intelligence.
And intelligence, yeah.
So yeah, tell us more. What's So we'll. Go ahead.
I think strategically, as a nation fighting insurgency, we witnessed last week, the first meeting between the NSA and the American counterparts, a very productive meeting in Abuja. That was on Thursday, on top of my head. And I think a country fighting terrorism would look in different directions for help and for assistance and for cooperation. I think that is what Nigeria is doing at the moment. They're reaching out to countries that have had similar experiences. Turkey has that, that kind of experience fighting insurgency, around the region. So as far as I can see, it is a win-win situation for Nigeria if we can form strong alliances across the globe that would assist us as partners, not as a country going there to beg or for anything. If we go into those agreements in form of strategic alliances, I think it's good for the country, it's good for the economy, it's good for the investment, everything that we all talk about around investment opportunities and job creation and improving the sort of living of our people. I think
I like the word not going there to beg. That should be underlined with red marker. In most cases, when African leaders visit Europeans who visit the West or partners, what they do the most is begging. And this has not helped us, Wale, you agree. It has not helped us in any way because once you come as a beggar, your everything about you, that whole visit is now taken as charity. So nothing serious can come out of charity. I mean, such arrangement. When we have the capacity, we have the abilities, we have the potentials to go there, talk business, and really live up to those business plans. Wale, that word begging should be underlined. That's what I'm thinking.
It is very vital to every international negotiation because there's a perception about Africa, especially in the West. Don't forget about that.
Yeah.
There are kids growing up in the West that believe Africans are jumping from one tree to the other, or they are walking around naked and all that. In 2026, there are kids living in the West that they still, fortunately, I believe in that kind of stereotype based on what they've been fed on the media. So,
yes,
and for Africa, our leaders to now go there in any shape or form, asking for aids, it's not the best, especially when you look at it in terms of our the kind of resources, the reservoir of resources that we have across the continent. We there is no need, we have no business to be begging for any kind of support. But I'm in 101% in support of any collaboration, any strategic partnership, any form of alliances that would benefit the living condition and improve the living standards of our people. George was saying earlier, I think I would like to clarify that with George. He was initially talking about maybe there is no need for this kind of traveling around the globe to have some of these agreements signed. If I heard him correctly, he was making a background around what lessons we've learned about COVID. And he was saying that post-COVID, most deals can be done online, or most deals can be done virtually, without actually the president moving around. Yeah, I think I heard him clearly on that. Yeah, I would like for, hopefully we'll come back. I have a slide kind of like, is when you embark, I can't recall any Nigerian president embarking on him as far as an adult. I can't remember any Nigerian president embarking on a state visit to Turkey, as far as I can remember. Maybe because of that, there's a bit of symbolism attached to that, even though they have trade deals and partnership agreements to sign. I would think that it's not one of those countries that we have very strong alliance with, that we trade with regularly. I would think that a day or two stay visit to sign something and give it all the fanfare and everything that it deserves. I don't really think that we've got nothing to really lose as a nation, knowing that in government there is continuity. In government, the president may be away doing something else. It's not on holidays, it's actually on
holiday. All right. Thank you very much. We hope George will come in, so you and him will also go on that. But viewers, we are discussing what is happening presently. Nigerian President Tinubu in Turkey, and the Turkey government has also stated in yesterday. They stated that there will be a joint economy and trade committee set up for the two countries that will create opportunities for job support, for investment also in Nigeria, in order to meet the targets the country has with Nigeria. Also, like we said earlier, the president, Arican, says that he's going to support Nigeria fight against terrorism, expressing his readiness to deepen cooperation in military training and intelligence. So good arrangement there. But let's wrap this topic up, Wale, with this. Most time we see these bilateral plans and visits and all of that. But again, I like to say this: will this rub on the average citizen, on the ordinary Nigerian person working in the streets? Will this rub off on them, or are we just having big dramas, big stories, big negotiation and plans and everything just on paper?
Yeah, we spoke about this the last week or so, where we spoke about what the World Bank, their impressions about the level of the state of the economy in Nigeria. I think I referenced a report prepared in October, and everything on paper in terms of the macroeconomics, everything is going great. We just need to improve on the microeconomics so that the local woman selling gari and beans by the roadside will be able to have money to look after ourselves and be able to look after our family. These are the things that we're looking forward to. And there's an opportunity here. Next year is an election year. So that is where that is what I'm very happy about. It is an election year. Whatever government has said they've done, whatever promises, policies, whatever they said they've done, and everything, it is going to be like a referendum. It is going to be the next election is going to be a referendum on Tinubu. It's not a referendum on APC or sorry on ADC or PDP anyone. It's going to be a referendum on him. He will be going to that election as someone who has been in position for 4 years. So what the questions people couldn't ask him in 2023, they'll be able to ask him now, because that time he was saying, look, I'm gonna be a very strong friend to the president. So I'm not, the national party. I'm not the president. I can only support him to the level that he wants me to support him. And even at that time, I felt that was fair. He wasn't the president, no matter the level of closeness. But this time around in 2027, he's going there as the president for 4 years. And people will be asking him that question. So that's what I'm very, that's the most important point for me. And I hope that, it is his job to convince Nigerians what he's done in 4 years. Either the economy as good as is on paper, or as good as it is for the local trader on the roadside, struggling to send their kids to school and pay all the school fees. They will be the one that will make, the decision around that. I'm also very happy about something. I'm happy that there's been this international focus on Nigeria. Especially around the security issues and the American threat to go and sort out everyone and all that, and international issues. The bigger picture, as far as I feel, is also good for Nigeria overall. In terms of, we have a president who have been there by 4 years. It's not going to be talking like who has been outside government. So
okay. Sorry, just hold tight there a little, Georgie. We really need you to be on this. Good. Sounds better. Thank you, sir. Thank you for fixing whatever technical issue you had there. Yes. George, we need, because you were saying some very important things earlier on, and Wale is also holding on to some of the things you said. Let's hear you say on this trip again, the physical presence, and it could be done virtually and all of that. Is that what you're saying?
No, most of the time, because you will always have chaos in a country, whether it's a big one or a small one. But that should not be the reason why a president like Bola Ahmed Tinubu should be sitting at home just trying to solve domestic issues, when you have the executioners of these laws that can be taken care of him wherever he is. We're not in the 60s anymore. We are in the 21st century that is technologically advanced. Wherever the president is, he could be operating like he is in Nigeria. This is something that we know for sure. His physical presence does not make things better. Well, it might bring a little bit of a lighter face because of compassion. But when it comes to business, the man is on a pathway to bring Nigeria to the forefront after the pandemic, because there has been a reset, a paradigm shift in the way businesses are done. That's number one. Number two, with the emergence of, Putin and Ukraine, and then Trump coming into the scene, every country must be on their toes, because you cannot be dependent upon any other country, one individual country, for your welfare, social welfare, financial welfare. Therefore, you must expand your tentacles. What our president is doing is fundamentally going to be so rich for Nigeria if it's well followed after his presidency. He's bringing a lot of collaborations, a lot of MOUs, and most of them might not pan out for our own benefit, but a lot of them mostly will. So that's what we are seeing. This collaboration is important. It is amazing. And that's what I was saying last week, or on Monday. You gotta understand the type of person that you are electing into the presidency. If you bring a professor, it might be different. If you bring a businessman, and especially an international businessman, this is what you see. And we're going to see as we go ahead. I have condemned a lot of things our president or the government did not do right. Most of the time, it's the timeliness of it. You can bring a good idea, but if you implement it at the wrong time, the people at the bottom will suffer. And that's what's happening in Nigeria today. So I applaud our president in this visit and let him continue to do what he's doing. And our prayers are with him. Because at the end of the day, look at what you just mentioned a few minutes ago. If you go back to
PayPal.
Nigeria, if you go back to Nigeria, digitalized money transfer is all over the place. Even women at the marketplace right now, they will give the account number for you to pay in to transfer money. So now, PayPal know what they are doing because OPay and the rest of them are making massive amount of money. Because when you come to do a financial transaction, you don't need to go to the bank anymore. You go to your POS individual, and these things are expanding. Remember, Kenya was at the forefront many years ago, and now we are catching up. So I applaud our president, and it's very unfortunate that things happened while he was there, but we still believe that this is the best thing for Nigeria.
Okay, I think Wale get that now, so we understand what you were trying to say now. But not
I got it better now. Yeah,
got it better. But also let's look at this little thing. It's not too nice when people are not physically strong to also engage, because when the satellite is on you, people want to see a well endowed, reasoning, good, engaging flow, healthy, So I don't know. Does good that our president was bumpy throughout the.
Listen,
You want to say something?
Well, we've seen this happen many times. We've seen it happen many times. Okay, we've seen Biden fall many times. We saw other presidents fall many times. We understand that.
And they were used against them. It was used against him. People now saw that.
But that does not mean that he's not efficient in his thinking and he's not clear in his thinking. The physical body might could have been something that tripped him, or he stepped on something and then fell. No, I'm not even paying attention to that. What I'm paying attention, I'm not going to measure in minors. I'm going to measure in majors. The things that actually will benefit, whether the president is on wheelchair or not. After all, FDR was on wheelchair in the United States of America, and they brought America to a limelight around the world. So what does that have to do with anything? If we have to give him a wheelchair, let me give him a wheelchair, and he'll be operating, with his brain. So that doesn't mean anything. So the man suffered from polio in those days and was on wheelchair, and he ruled America very well. He was one of the best American presidents.
Okay, thank you. All right, gentlemen, we went very far with that one, but good news anyway. Viewers all agree that it's good news. Nigeria is being hailed with all it's doing at this moment, restructuring the country's economy. Guys, let's come to some other stories now. We're not both in Nigeria presently, but the power outage across Nigeria is happening. The national grid has collapsed a second time. This doesn't help small businesses, doesn't help people when the source of electricity is not there. Wale, let me start with you. This is the second time they said, and they said it's as a result of.
Second time this week.
Yeah.
This week, can you imagine? Second time this week. Wale, do you have anything on that?
Look, I just, I paid attention like everyone else around that story. We all know the importance of power in so many areas for businesses, for homes, and for all other, aspects. I was curious to know exactly what really happened, what led to it. I had a look at, certain numbers. At the peak of, in terms of the power generation, at the peak, maybe a day or 2 days ago, they had 4,762 megawatts. That was the power generated. It fell slightly to around 3,825. But when the whole system collapsed, it was it went down. From 4,700 62 megawatts
Yeah.
to 39 megawatts. So
Megawatt.
you can just do the maths. So that was very, very, so that was why the whole thing just collapsed. But I wanted to know in a very layman's language about what really
Yes.
led to it. I wanted to know. All I could, all I found online, credited to the Nigerian Independent System Operator, NISO, is they just use some big words. They attributed it to system-wide. I'm just reading what system-wide
Yeah.
disturbances resulted in a total outage across interconnected network. So that was the reason they gave for what really happened. Maybe some engineers in the house or engineers online to help us break that to
Yes.
break that to common man's language. But joke aside, that is the third time in less than a month that that we've recorded that level of power outage. But you'll see the funny side of everything. Yeah, and I can tell you, we had one of our hottest day yesterday on Tuesday. We had one of our hottest day ever in Melbourne. It was like 40 something degrees, and
Please
I was
bring
joking
it
with
here.
my
Bring it here. We are suffering in Canada.
Yeah, and the most interesting part of it was like because the heat was that high. I was thinking many people were using AC, whatever. I can't even remember the last time we had power outage here yesterday. We had power outage here in the
You
evening.
had power outage.
Yeah, we had one. Yeah, and I was saying
the whole household was on
everywhere,
AC.
just everywhere, and the whole house, the outage. Yeah,
That's
the
a surprising news.
Yeah, that was yesterday. I must, it's later because I saw the funny side of it. And I was even joking with my girls, my daughters, because they were struggling to bring it back because of the level of heat. They were really trying. And each time they try, it fell off again. And they did that for about 3 times. And I was joking with my girls that in Nigeria, we shout up NEPA if we're.
What we saw, Nigeria is happening to Melbourne.
That was what happened. That was what happened. That was literally yesterday. Yeah, that was yesterday. And I was telling my girls when I was growing up, we shout up NEPA when we have this kind of.
But anyway, so what we're seeing actually is this is the second collapse according to what they said in 5 days.
Yeah.
Power generation fell sharply, just to 39 megawatts, like you said, marking the second great failure in less than 1 week following an earlier collapse on January 23rd. So that's what we're seeing here. Now, also, they said that the cause identified as system operator. The Nigerian Independent System Operator, NISO, says the collapse was triggered by multiple 330 kV transmission line, tripping simultaneously, combined with the disconnection of some generating units. That's what they said. Okay, now, the question we're asking is this. Because sometimes when these things continue to happen, we keep on saying it's current news. Tomorrow it becomes old news. Next tomorrow it repeats itself again. Next tomorrow the same thing. And it keeps going up and down. But the effects of this thing on Nigeria itself, on all the businesses, is so massive that it's amazingly just destroying our economy locally. What you're seeing is because we just increased the minimum wage to 70 K per month. No single hotel is paying that. As I was in several hotels, most of these young people that are working there 24 hours are earning 40,000 naira per month. And part of the reason is because of this. They have to keep the generators working because light is not there. And now, because they have privatized some of these other electric companies, they are being held hostage. If you want electricity to come to you continuously, you gotta pay arm and a leg. It's increasing the cost of you staying in the hotel, is decreasing the cost, the payment to the young people that are working in these hotels. So these things are so vital that why did we not? Why this coastal road from Calabar, Lagos to Calabar, That money that was used, do you know that if Ahmed Tinubu, our president, were to invest that money in increasing the grid in our country so that there will be electricity, everybody will be clapping for him. He will leave a legacy that can never be erased. He will make a mark that people will always remember. And these are the things that we really need to pay attention to. Why is it still working? Why is Nigeria in 2026 still talking about electricity? I was in Nigeria for 3 weeks, and I suffered, many times, because sometimes the grid, the generator will go off, and then they will try to put it on. Within that short period of time, I was sweating like a he goat, and it was not comfortable. No, it was not comfortable. So now, what we need to pay attention to is, in simple terms, this is a structural problem, not a surprise. It's been happening for many years. Aging and overstretched infrastructure. That is number one. Much of Nigerian transmission network is old, poorly maintained, and operating beyond safe capacity. That's one major problem. We need to pay attention to it. Okay? Minor faults easily cascade into total system collapse. Why should it be so? Because of lack of maintenance culture. Okay? So, with transmission backbone, Nigeria generates power unevenly and transmits it through a fragile centralized grid with limited redundancy. When key 330K lines fail, the system has no shock absorber, nothing to hold it back. It will just fall completely. Nothing. These are things we need to pay attention to if we want our economy to continue to foster the way it's supposed to. It is not working. We need to pay attention. That's number one thing.
You have a lot to tell us because you're coming from the ground zero of all of this. But let's go on a small break. Viewers, it's beautiful out here. The discussion is really very hot. We're talking about the power outage across Nigeria as the national grid collapses the second time in 5 days. So, but let's come back on the other side. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Let's take a small break. We'll be back. Thank you.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerian soul are proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
This country has some of the most extraordinary culinary diversity in the world. I'm talking about Nigeria. This first dish is amala abula, made popular by the Yoruba people in southwest Nigeria. It starts with amala made from dried yam and then is covered in a variety of soups. Next we have ofe and sala, a white soup that is synonymous with the Igbo people of southeastern Nigeria. It goes best with fufu, or akbo as the Igbos call it. Next we have suya, the most well-known food of the Hausa and Fulani people of northern Nigeria. Meat is covered in a peanut-based powder called yaji and cooked over an open fire. This is banga and starch, a classic of the Urhobo people of Delta State. Lastly, we have onunu, a plantain-based swallow of the Izon people in South Nigeria. We are eating it with fisherman soup, popular throughout this whole region. And of course, we don't forget the jollof rice. This is popular everywhere in Nigeria. I think what makes Nigeria so great is the diversity of all the different people coming together. These beautiful ethnic groups living side by side, sharing culture and cuisine is what makes Nigeria such an amazing country to visit. Nigerians should be so proud of that cultural heritage, as there is so much more that unites than divides them.
SSM's Wednesday Global Africa program brings to you our news stories, exclusive reporting, and SSM perspectives on the day's top news. Plus, the inside scoop on Africa's most important developing stories. Join us on Wednesdays, 11 a.m. West African time.
All right, gentlemen, you're welcome. Viewers, you are welcome to the second part of our story, Wednesday's African update. George and Wale, we all know what's happening in Nigeria with the IPOP Monday sit at home. George will tell us more because he grew up from that part of the world. Now, Anambra State, one of the southern eastern states in Nigeria, the governor is so bitter, so angry with that Monday sit at home thing. He now said, okay, for the whole 1 week, sit at home, everybody. George, let me start with George since he has some understanding on that. George, is this the best way to go about the sit at home Monday, shutting down the market for a whole week? We know that market is, they say it's actually the biggest market, biggest trading market in Western Africa. Tell us, George.
Well, Onisha main market, Soludo, the governor of Anambra State, ordered the closure after traders defied government directives to ignore the Monday sit at home, warning the shutdown could extend to 1 month. Okay. Now, government draws a hard line. Soludo describes the traders' action as economic sabotage, saying the state will not allow fear to dictate public life as security agencies seal the market to enforce compliance. High stake for test for Anambra economy. I know this is really suffering, it's affecting the economy of the state. Attention now until next Monday, whether traders return or stay away on outcome that could redefine the future of Monday business activities across the state. Now, I applaud him for one thing, for actually wanting to do this. But like I said before, it is not, you can have a good idea, but if it's applied wrongly, it will bring wrong results. The
Okay,
IPO
George, let me hold it there now. Keep on hold. Wale, if you applied wrongly, it will bring the wrong result. But this could be a solution since people are not coming on Monday. And do you know what we lose at every Monday we sit at home in the Southeast? Wale, what do you think about this?
Yeah, for me, I see this beyond the market politics. I see it in a more broader way of fight for control of a space, the governance of a space. So I see the governor trying to take over the governance of his state from the hands of non-state actors. So when you have non-state actors like IPOP, issuing instructions on when markets should open, when markets shouldn't open, and they have people following them for years. So, and in that same state, you have a democratically elected government in place. They have to show who is in charge. So that's my understanding of Governor Soludo's action. Is in a way, is a very subtle way of saying who is in charge. It's very easy to pick the markets because of its symbolism, to be able to exercise that authority. We don't need to have a PhD in economics to know about the economics of it for the state and to the people and everything. But for me, I'm seeing this beyond just the market politics. I'm seeing it as, a very broad statement of the governor saying that I'm the governor here, I call the shots, I'll dictate what happens in my state, not some faceless people telling you what to do. That is just
Wale.
That's my broad understanding.
Hold on. Okay, yeah. Where was he when IPOB was causing havoc and killing people? Where was his strength and power then? Where was he when these hoodlums were taking over the governance of the state and massacring young women or killing people who just came out to make a daily living? Where was he as a governor? Where was his power? Like I said, it's a good idea. But when you apply something that is good in a wrong time, wrong application, wrong process, it will bring bad results. You don't come and flex your governorship muscles now that everything is okay. When it was heated up, what did you do to stop that from happening in your own state? I know they'll say, oh, we did this and we did that. Listen, the application of this particular thing would have been, these are plausible approaches Soludo could have taken. Instead of an immediate full market closure, the governor could have explored these options. Number one, phased reopening with incentives, not just sanctions. It will benefit the state because when we are trading for 5-6 solid days in Anambra today, do you know what happened? Their Christmas begins when? 1st of January. They will trade all the way to the 1st, and then they will go home, and they will stay home for 2 weeks to the 15th. That's when they start coming out. That's why most of them are not even back in business. That's what is happening right now. And it's because of this sit at home that brought about this. Alpha tax relief, reduced levies, or temporary security backed insurance for traders who open on Mondays, gradually rebuilding confidence rather than forcing compliance. It doesn't work. You're dealing with Igbos, because they're going to be looking at it from the standpoint, where were you when we were being killed, when we could not do anything? We did not have the power to stop the IPOP. And now you coming to flex your muscle. Now, another one is structured dialogue with market unions and influencers. Convene emergency talk with market leaders, transport unions, traditional rulers, and respected community voices to co-own the decision and reduce fear-driven resistance. It is fear. A lot of people are dying. Many people came out in the past and were slaughtered, and there were nobody to help them. So what do you say to that? Security force demonstration days. Designate specific secure market Mondays with heavily visible protection and emergency response units proving safety before imposing penalty. That's what he could have done. Number four. Okay. Targeted enforcement, not blanket punishment. Sanction repeat.
Okay.
Yes.
But George,
hold on, let me finish. Then you can talk.
Okay.
Let me finish, because this is very important. We're talking about a problem that needs solution, and we're bringing plausible solutions that he could have taken, which I'm quite sure that any intelligent individual can digest this, and then if it's enforced or reinforced into the system, it will work well. Okay, sanction repeat defaulters individually instead of shutting down the entire market, protecting compliant traders and avoiding collective economic pain. In essence, fear cannot be legislated away. People were afraid of their lives, and it was for how many years? Think about it. Think about it. They're used to it. Sustainable compliance will likely come from confidence building, trust, and shared ownership, not force alone. Even if the government's intent is to restore order and economic normalcy, they gotta apply it with wisdom. With wisdom. It gotta be done systematically. And then you would have seen this thing just all of a sudden, it will evolve into full compliance and nobody will ever say anything. This first thing now, let me tell you the two reasons why it's working against him. Many people are not back to market. They're not back yet. They're not back yet. Most of them are coming back at the end of this month. And that's one of the major issues. He could have thought about this and, knowing Anambra State and the way traders work, and waited until the end of the month and use this the 15th of this month to the end of the month in collaborating with other leaders. Talk to them. Find out best ways of practice. You are a governor in Oka. You don't know what is going on locally. You collaborate and talk to people. Make it a statewide, process that will evolve into a full market system again, so that people can, live their lives safely and have confidence that nothing will happen to them if they go into the market. It's not only the market people. What about people going to market? Have you thought about that?
George, you said a lot here now, profiling solutions and all that. But
look, can I say a few words?
Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
There is no state government that's going to bow down. At the end of the day, someone is running the space, someone is governor. All great ideas from George about what he should have done, but he shows a different path. And he's the governor. And there's a reason why he's the governor. So he's done what he felt was the best action to take. He's done that. People are threatening more strikes, so they want to make the state ungovernable for him. I don't think any state governor will allow that to happen. So I think at the end of the day, there's always a middle ground that the traders, no matter how strongly they feel about this, to know that someone is still calling the shot as the governor. He has given them, a week just to close it for a week. He hasn't said he's going to close it forever. I would think that whatever negotiation that they need to happen can take place within that week, including consideration of some of the ideas George has just mentioned. They could consider some of those options. But for people to believe that they can just make a state ungovernable, they don't do that in a part of the world where we live in. the part of the where we live in, governments still make decisions that are not the most thought out decisions. They still
Yes,
make some
that's
of the
true.
best policies that are not the most thought out policies, no matter how good the policies are. But people don't just want to create a second government for themselves. So that is the kind of my perspective on this, that he has chosen what he wanted to do. He wanted to make a very strong point. Then there must be a middle ground there. I don't think threatening to do this, to do that, I don't think that's also the best way to go about it.
Thank you, guys. I think I'll leave my comment for another time, but you both have given it a real strong one. George, thank you for, yes, that's one thing we do here, viewers. We not speak, we also prefer solution. George has given out some real good solution. So Soludo and your team, your media guys, all of you, if you're listening to this, consult SSM. We have some help to render, and it's all for good governance, for better Nigeria, and for well-being of our people. Gentlemen, let's come into some more stories before our time runs out. Last time, it was a heated argument on this network. George, you remember? Coup no coup, some people, Dr. Femi and Femi Oke were saying there was no coup, it was just all stories.
I was hoping to see them here.
Yes,
even on Monday.
Yes, on Monday. And maybe he's watching us here now.
Yeah.
But Wale, you are an expert in security issues. You have your degree on those fields. Now, detained officers have been taken. We also have I have here with me a particular man, a military officer that was the mastermind behind the coup. And it is now open that there was a coup not too long ago against the Tinubu's administration, but it didn't play out. So what will you say? Well, let's start with you. Mohammed Maji, a Nigerian military colonel, he was the key figure behind that whole coup. What will you say about this, Ali? What will you say?
Look, I grew up under military era, and I saw the goods, if there's anything really good there, and the bad about military. So I don't fall for the rhetoric around, for whatever reason that they want to use to get back to power. The lessons from 1966, we're still battling with some of those issues there from the January 15, 1966, so where we are today, we're still battling with the issues, As far as I'm concerned, any military person who staged a coup, they knew, they knew the other side. I think it's just one of those. It is very clear to anyone that is wearing any military uniform that if they stage a coup to take over a democratically elected government, they know the other side of it. So the only key points that I just want to emphasize is that the trial, by a military court, there should be accountability on their part. There should be transparency on their part, and they should be based on principles of fairness, and justice, so that the accused people, that 16 of them that were accused in October, when they have their time or their day before, the court, the military court, they'll be able to have whatever representation that is allowed within the military establishment to really defend themselves and the actions and everything. That is what I hope for. And I think the reason why the government had to do, there's, the wave of coup across the West Africa countries, like in Mali, Burkina Faso, which other country around the neighborhood?
Niger,
and Guinea, but Guinea recently returned to democratic. So as far as I'm concerned, any coup in the West Africa or Sub-Saharan Africa could easily destabilize the region, especially in Nigeria. So as far as I'm concerned, we don't want any kangaroo courts, but people that have been allegedly planned the coup to, truncate the new democratic experiment that we're having, they should be dealt with accordingly. That is just my position on it.
Yes. Okay, Georgie, One man is saying also that that means the federal government would apologize to Nigerians for denying that there was no coup. Initially, remember, Bayo Ononuga, the media press man, said there was nothing like that. George?
Well, it seems like lying has become easy these days when it's supposed to be very, very difficult. In the past, when we didn't have videos or telephones with cameras and videos, it's easy for you to tell people because nobody is there. Look at what is happening in the United States of America. They're coming out and lying about the young lady that was killed and want to lie again about Pretty that was just killed. And then the video is there to show you a completely all different story altogether. So we gotta be very, very careful when we begin to mouth off. Like when I finished last Monday, where I said the coup took place, whether they like to admit it or not. And I kept on saying this because I knew already there are things we don't know in the public that is on the ground. It goes under the Information Act, whereby the public might not even know it. So the military, actually, the due process, not rumors anymore. It's a due process now. Military confirms due process. While coup rumors were initially dismissed, the armed forces now say investigation uncovered serious violations, stressing that any attempt to unseat an elected government violates military ethics and professional standards. Sensitive history, heightened vigilance. Nigeria's long history of coups makes such allegations highly delicate, especially as neighboring countries like Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso have seen military takeovers in recent years. But there's something that I really, really want to discuss. Democracy reaffirmed amid regional instability. The military has again pledged loyalty to civilian rule, underlining Nigerian uninterrupted democracy since 1999 and its role as a stabilizing force within ECOWAS. But the question is, why the secrecy? We need to ask that question. Why the secrecy? Because as much as Bayo Ononuga came and talked to what he said, the government officially did not come out to say yea or nay. It was just this man mouthing off like he always does. Okay? Number one is to prevent panic and speculation. Public talk of coup plus in Nigeria can quickly destabilize markets, security morale, and public confidence.
That's true.
So you remember I asked that question. Why is it so tempered down that it's not all over the place? There is a reason. Because such things could actually bring fear on people, and then you can see copycats trying to imitate what has already happened. That's another reason. Okay, so to protect institutional integrity, the military prefers internal investigation before public disclosure, ensuring evidence, discipline, and chain of command to be preserved. Regional context matters. With coups spreading across West Africa, Nigeria needed to project calm and control and constitutional stability. So I can see part of the reasons why the government tempered it, and I can guarantee you it was an advice from a foreign country. More than likely, US.
All right, gentlemen. So, but what matters the most is now it is in the open. It's no more a lie. It's no more false news. It's no more fake news. It is true that there was a coup, and now 16 men are going to face panel on all of that. Thank you very much, Wale. Georgie, take note that Wale is an expert in this too. This is his
okay.
Yeah. We can talk. I do criminology and criminal justice, and I do a lot of security and counter-terrorism. Kind of behind the scene. So we can talk on this.
Very. Wale, we'll be having more programs on this, specifically focusing on security and some of these issues, because people rarely talk about it, and most times those that talk about it don't have that knowledge. So let's keep sometime soon on issues on this topic. Anyway, let's wrap it up with the one time minister, I think it was minister in different phases, minister there, but she ended up being minister for petroleum. One time also OPEC president, the first female OPEC president, Alison Madueke, on Monday was in the London court, and she's been charged for, like they said, embezzlement, fraud, and all of it, financial fraud. Let's see her come out of the the court that will talk about this. I don't know if the studio can play us that video. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if the pictures are clear enough, but that's her coming out of the court. Now, gentlemen, the talk here now is this should be a high-profile woman, but the charges against her sounds so very ugly. You know, they said she was involved in lucrative oil and gas contracts, and she was also accepting benefits from different people, extremely high businesses, and all of this adds up to her being indicted for multiple counts of bribery between those years she was in office. What do we call this, Wale? This case also lingered too long. You know, what would you say of Madueke and her case?
Yeah, I think I've got 2 points, just being away of time. 2 points I was reading online today on this particular topic. And then there was the important question, why is it that this case is actually taking place in London? Why is it that oil's, money stolen from Nigeria or around bribery and corruption from Nigeria is taking place in England? So, and I'm just reading something that I just wrote it down. They said, I think the counsel, the defense, the prosecutor, said that bribery and corruption undermine the proper functioning of the global market. So that wherever you have bribery and corruption, on this case, bribery and corruption has been linked directly to UK soil. And they are saying that wherever bribery and corruption exists, it undermines the proper functioning of the global market. That is why they're doing what they have to do. I just think that is the case. And there are many, Juicy's story going to Harrods to spend £2 million in shopping. You guys like suits. I can see you guys that wear. They should have taken you guys around to Harrods and
some beautiful suits though.
Beautiful suits. Ford and Joe Franco.
Yeah. So, but the second point that I want to make, and allow to hear you guys as well, is that everything we know about Nigeria and the way that the society, the way it functions, the bribery and corruption, there's one part of me that feels this woman is just a scapegoat. This woman is just a scapegoat. That there is no way this woman alone would be this woman that has stolen all this money. We know how it is in Nigeria. She's just the way fronting for some big guys that they cannot be mentioned.
Wale, you hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
And this is exactly what is happening to Emefiele today. Emefiele, screwed up big time. He didn't use wisdom. He was not tactful whatsoever. But all the accusations and all the things that are being hidden, from the public is simply because of what went on. He was not the only one. He had complicit, partners who he was helping to do their bidding. And now all of a sudden he's a scapegoat. But the thing that I'm saying with this woman, I think she was excessive. I think she was too much. What we need to ask her is to return at least 80% of the loot. 80% of the loot, and it will be running in billions. And then we will forgive her and allow her to come back. Return the money. To sit on that money and continue to deny the charges it doesn't help us at all. Let's return that money and put that money towards light, our grid. Let's bring all that money, put it towards the grid to bring our megawatts so the whole entire Nigeria can light up. Because this renewed hope agenda ought to be on top is the light in Nigeria. Unless that, we are still going to be suffering a whole lot of consequences that are unnecessary. So I believe that they can charge all they want to. Let's return 80% of our loot. And we put it towards the light. That's my solution.
Let's return 80% of the loot put into the light. 5 minutes more, but we might not go too deep in this. But what's happening? Well, what's happening with Wike and his people, his secretariat workers, pursuing him, running after him, shouting "Ole, ole," and all of that. And he has now said that those that don't resume work will be made scapegoats. I mean, Wike.
Yeah, it is a familiar script. They've been having these grievances with the workers of the FCTA, since last year, and over welfare concerns and all that. And we know typically in Nigeria, when that happens, they run to the National Industrial Courts. And that was what he did. And they've been able to get an injunction directing the workers to go back to work to continue negotiation. I know the politics of it. I know that with the courts involved now, we have to be on the side of the law because that is how the society functions. We be on the side of the law not because we are naive of how law and justice is delivered in Nigeria, but we still have to be on the side of the law, that the law is law, regardless of the operators of the law. So my take will be for the labor union or whatever umbrella they are negotiating with the Wike or the FCT minister to go to the drawing board with their delegates and to see what they can get through that, court, intervention. Hopefully they'll be able to get something for their workers. I don't see any strength in them, refusing to go back to work in defiance of a court order. That would be my summary of it. I think I saw it, but I just love that Wike is having bass bros left, right, and center these days.
You see, that partyless man, because that's what he is now, is a partyless man. He doesn't belong to any political party. Need to step back and begin to regroup himself. Because how can you be owing employees almost 8 months of salary and you're talking about court injunction? Who is that judge that gave that injunction, by the way? What did he get to do to bring such, to come to that decision? Yeah, we don't want any disruptions, but this is a constitutional, they have the constitutional right to protest for not being paid. And then tomorrow, when you see them asking you for 5 naira or 10 naira, or please, give me money, like a police officer came and was so tired in the middle of the road, the heat was so bad, begging me, can you just give me anything you have because I need to get some water. I felt so bad because I was cashless. I didn't have anything on me. And the street was so busy. I would have gone, buy water, and brought it back. But the street was busy and I was in a hurry. But these are the things that we are seeing. Action brings reaction. You don't pay employees. How do you expect them to feed their children? How do you expect them to put fuel in the car? How do you expect them to pay for their children's school fees? Or the everyday necessity of life you owe in them? Where is the money apportioned for the salary going? We need to do an investigation, internal investigation, for goodness sake, because the federal government allocates this money. Where is that money stopping? Why is it stopping? Why are not employees getting paid? And then we're talking about court injunction. What court is that? That judge needs to be sanctioned for actually bringing such a thing, because of the influence of Wike that they gave that court injunction. Now we're going to obey that. This is exactly what's happening in Minneapolis. Yeah, it's a federal mandate, but people are saying no, we cannot take it anymore. 2 lives lost, and now they want to withdraw back. No, man, come on.
Come on, George.
They need to be sanctioned. Honestly speaking, they need to be sanctioned.
George, bring in very strong perspective.
No, it is. Think about it. Common sense. If a man has not been paid for 6 months, how do you expect him to survive? To live off of what? Come on. Expect him to be coming to work and then you don't pay him, while the federal government allocation for the salary has already been there. What is happening to that money? Where is the money lodged? Why is it not coming back to the people? You are the FCC minister, for goodness sake. These are
And
things we need to look into and investigate.
on top of that, he's taking more out of his time and energy to go to Rivers, dabble into the politics there.
Because he's
All right,
on a life. He's on a lifeline. He's about to. If that lifeline is plugged, he'll be dead politically. He's on a lifeline. The
All right.
APC doesn't want him. PDP kicked him out. ADC will not allow him to come in. So where does he belong? Maybe he will start his own political party.
I think that might happen soon too. Right, wonderful, gentlemen. This is it, viewers. This is it. We've come. We've done our thing. We've used some few minutes more. Wednesday, Africa. George is back. George is back from Nigeria. Wale, this is George.
That's, I've seen the videos. It's good too. Yes. I was talking with my Godwin some days ago. I sent him a message. I said it appears that since I joined, other people they've run away. That what's going on?
Now you have George and George do wrong.
Yeah, because I've had a look at past videos. I've seen you talk. I've seen other people talk. So I was just looking with my Godwin. I sent him a message that says, "It's as if since I joined, people have run away. They've left me."
They're coming back.
People will come back.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, also, guys, for what you do in the scene. Group chat, also bringing in informations, gathering informations for us to come out here to the public. Viewers, this is it. This is it's getting interesting. The news, our news updates. We might increase the time, we might increase the date. I mean, more appearance. That's what it's looking at. So
I think, Massive Mark, we need to select a day. Very soon when we will begin to discuss politics, because
that's
of the election.
Yes. And also, let me tell you guys, we'll be going into, George, you know this, we'll be going into interviews soon. So viewers, you want to stay tuned for interviews with some big politicians in Nigeria as we go. This morning, I had a call from Rivers. One of the politicians is interested. The man just opened his house. He has a big house there. Big house. The one-time PDP chairman, Secondus. Okay. We'll come back. Friday we'll be here again. Wale, thank you very much for what you're doing. Georgie, I'm so excited to have you back. And
I'm back.
More. Yes, you're back, George. You're back.
Live and
you're
direct.
amazing. All right, guys. Then also, viewers, let me say this. There are this short thing we've been doing for some time. You all know. George and Wale, you guys could also spread that to your own corner and build, spread it.
Yes, I saw that.
The
short videos from this program. Yeah, I shared them on my Facebook page. The one
the short ones. Okay, beautiful. I'll be sharing them then on my. Okay.
It increases because people like those short things.
They like it.
Yeah. These days, young people, everybody like just brief things, So that's why that is.
Awesome.
Thank you very much, guys.
That's good.
God bless you all. Have a beautiful midweek. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.